Hey guys, this is God of Politics. I'm welcome back to a brand new video. In this video, I'm going to be doing my updated Senate election prediction for the 2020 elections. We have a number of high-profile Senate races upcoming in a number of key battleground states, and I'm going to be predicting them for my updated prediction. This is assuming that Joe Biden will be the nominee, which he is going to be the nominee. So let's get right into it. We will start off with the safe states. As always, Idaho will be a safe state. Wyoming will be a safe state as well. Then South Dakota will be a safe state. Nebraska will be a safe state. Oklahoma safe. Alaska safe. Arkansas safe. Louisiana safe. And then Tennessee safe. Mississippi safe. Even with the Democrat running, he is not going to be able to get it close enough. So that will be safe for the Republicans. Then also, West Virginia will be safe, and that is going to be all the safe states for the Republicans. And then for the Democrats, Oregon is going to be safe, as well as Illinois safe. New Mexico safe. Tom Udall isn't going to get a good challenge. He's been there since 2008. I don't think he's going to have much of a challenge there. He'll win pretty easily. As well as Massachusetts safe, Rhode Island safe, New Jersey safe, and Delaware safe, as well as Virginia safe because they've got Mark Warner there. He is a very popular senator from the state of Virginia, and he's going to win pretty easily. So we have 43 safe seats for the Democrats and 41 safe seats for the Republicans. Now we'll get into the likely, lean, and tilt states. First, we'll start off with Texas here. I think Texas is going to go likely. You've got John Cornyn here, who is more popular than Ted Cruz, less well-known but more popular, and so that is going to prove to his advantage because the Democrats aren't going to be able to get enough turnout to be able to win the state despite the trends and everything that's making the state more blue. But obviously, it's still a Republican state. Next, we will go to Georgia. Georgia is going to be a likely state. The non-special election will be a likely state. And Alabama will also be a likely state. Doug Jones is basically cooked for voting for impeachment. And even before that, he was basically cooked. He's in Alabama. There's no chance of him winning. And so that seat will also be likely for the Republicans. South Carolina will also be a likely seat for the Republicans. Jamie Harrison might give Lindsey Graham a tough challenge, but really he isn't going to do much. Maybe with Biden at the top of the ticket, and a black candidate for the Democrats who could boost turnout a little bit. That could help the Democrats, but overall I don't think it's going to do much. And that seat is going to be likely for the Republicans, as well as Kansas likely for the Republicans, just due to the fact that Chris Kobach could be the nominee. I think the primary is coming up sooner. Actually, I'm not actually sure about that, but if Chris Kobach is the nominee, this seat could become closer. Chris Kobach could end up winning, but he wasn't able to win the governor election. I still think that if he is the nominee, there's a chance that he would lose the seat, but I'll put it at a likely margin for now. Also in Kentucky, I don't think Mitch McConnell is going to lose, despite the fact that he is very unpopular. You have Amy McGrath running against him, most likely. I don't think she's going to put up too much of a challenge. She wasn't even to be able to win in the district in 2018. I don't think she'd be able to win against McConnell, despite the fact that he is unpopular. And that is going to be all the likely states. I think also New Hampshire is going to be likely, even if this is closer in the presidential election. The Republicans don't really have a candidate here to put up, and so for that reason, it's just going to be a likely margin, just due to the fact that even in 2016, when it was so close, it was a flipped seat for the Democrats. And I don't think that if the Republicans are running a very good candidate, which they aren't right now, I don't think they're going to be able to flip it. So next we will go to the lean margins. I think Iowa is going to be a lean state for the Republicans. Joni Ernst is also not very popular. That's why I didn't put it at a likely or a safe margin, because I think that many of the Democratic voters and even some Republican voters will go against her, despite the fact that I think this is going to be an easy win for Trump in terms of the presidential race. Joni Ernst just won't get as many of the Trump votes as Trump himself will. She'll lose some of those voters because she is unpopular, but she will still win by a lean margin regardless. I also think Minnesota is going to go by a lean margin. Some people are saying that this is going to be closer, but Tina Smith won by 9 points in a special election, and despite the fact that it's a wave year, I can't really see it being much closer, but I do see it going by around 4 to 5 points, which would be not too bad for the Republicans in the grander scheme of things. Also, Montana, I believe, will be by a lean margin towards the Republican. We do have Steve Bullock, the current governor, Democratic governor, running now, and I do think that will make it closer, but it'll probably go to around 3 to 4 points. But I just think the state is too red to make it too close, despite the fact that he is a pretty popular governor, and a Democrat did win a Senate seat here last time. Also, Michigan is going to be a lean site, despite the fact that Red Eagle thinks John James is going to win here. John James is not going to win. You know, it's not going to for the Republican just because of the fact that he voted for impeachment. Gary Peters, just because of the fact that he voted for impeachment, doesn't mean that he's going to lose his seat. And I think that there's a real chance that this state goes Republican in the presidential election too. And I think just because of that reason, because of a number of reasons, it's traditionally a blue state as well. He's won before. He is going to end up winning the seat. Some polls will show it closer, and obviously it could be close, but I think at the end of the day, it'll probably be around 1 to 2, maybe even 3 points. Also, the state of Colorado is going to go by a lean margin. John Hickenlooper, I believe, is going to win this seat. I think they've already had the primary there. And he is going to beat Cory Gardner, who pretty much sides with Trump all the time. And we've seen that even though Bernie won the state here, those voters, I think, will turn out for Joe Biden, as well as turning out for their former popular governor, John Hickenlooper. And therefore, he is going to win the seat by a lean margin. The first pick of the night other than Alabama, and that is going to be a big victory for the Democrats here. Also, the state of Georgia will be by a lean margin. I think you'll either have Doug Collins, the current incumbent congressman from Georgia's 7th district, or Kelly Loeffler. I think it was a businesswoman, and now she is the senator here appointed by the governor, Brian Kemp. And I think that despite whoever is the nominee, I think that they're going to win by a lean margin in the special election just because of the fact that the Democrats will probably pour a lot of money into a state they think is trending blue, whether it is or not. I think overall it probably is, but at the end of the day, I think it is going to go by a lean margin. I think the 2018 governor's race was more of a fluke. And so we see the Republicans are already at 50 seats here. The Democrats, to get a majority, would have to win the presidential election as winning all of these 3 seats that we have left, Arizona, North Carolina, and Maine, that I all predict will go by tilt margins, but we'll see how they go. But let's get into that right now. I think Arizona is going to be tilt blue. Martha McSally should never have been appointed senator here after losing by more of a margin than Scott Walker lost his seat in Wisconsin. She lost by over 2.5, I think it was around 2.3 percentage points to a moderate, and Mark Kelly is not a moderate on certain things like gun violence, gun control, things like that. But he is going to be able to win the seat because his wife is in Congress. He'll be able to win the trending vote, the Maricopa County kind of vote, and he'll end up winning against a senator who, again, is very aligned with President Trump in a state that is not the most red state of all of them. And because of that, the state is going to tilt towards the blue column. Next, the state of Maine. This is going to be a big call, but I do think that it is going to tilt. I think that people in Maine are fed up with Susan Collins. She has been very partisan recently. The Kavanaugh vote still has many Maine voters upset, and some polls have had it closer before many people know who Sarah Gideon is. Some polls have had her up by more than 4 points, and this state, despite the fact that in 2016 went by 3 points to Hillary Clinton in terms of the popular vote, some polls have had it showing it having been up the Democratic candidate by 10 points, with both Bernie and Biden up by 10 points. And I think that's going to be an issue for Susan Collins when she's being so partisan, the voters see in such a Democratic state. And that is going to be a big issue for her in terms of running for re-election, because the country has become more partisan now. And people saying that this is going to be an easy win for her are just not right. Sarah Gideon has been winning by a lot in polls where many people still do not know who she is. And once she gains more popularity and the money that will be put into this race, she has been outraising Susan Collins as well. I believe that this seat is going to flip by a very small margin. And the final seat we'll be doing is North Carolina. I believe North Carolina is going to tilt towards the Republicans. Tom Tillis, the very unpopular Republican senator who sides again with Trump a lot of the time, pretty much almost all of the time, is going to win re-election in the state. It is a Republican state, and despite the fact that Joe Biden is up on aggregate by 3.5 points in terms of the polls, and some polls have had Cal Cunningham getting within striking distance and even leading against Tom Tillis, who is a very unpopular incumbent senator, I think that Cal Cunningham is not going to be able to pull himself over the line, but he will get it within 1 point, which would be a big accomplishment for him. But at the end of the day, Tom Tillis is going to win his seat again despite the fact that he is unpopular. North Carolina, despite the fact people have been saying it's been trending blue, but we just haven't seen that. And I have not seen that. I see that's been become, if anything, a more Republican state since it went blue back in 2008. And we see that Tom Tillis is going to slightly win re-election, but the fact that Donald Trump will probably win by 3 to 4 points here, while Tom Tillis will probably win by about 0.5%. It is going to be a close election, but at the end of the day, Tom Tillis will win the election. So looking at the bigger picture here, we have in total 51 Republicans to 49 Democrats. This would be a net gain of 2 for the Democrats and a net loss of 2 for the Republicans. And this would have pretty big implications because the Republicans would still gain a majority going into another year where the map does not look too good for them. And yeah, this is my final election prediction map of this month for the Senate elections. You may disagree with me, but this is just my opinion. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe as always, and I will see you guys later.